The dawn of the 21st century was a magical, transitional time for animation, an era when the traditional hand-drawn masterpieces of the past were beginning to share the spotlight with a bold, revolutionary new medium. Audiences walking into movie theaters nearly 25 years ago were about to witness a historic milestone in cinematic storytelling, though few could have predicted just how deeply a pint-sized inventor with a massive, gravity-defying swirl of brown hair would embed himself into the global cultural consciousness. When a brilliant, hyperactive young inventor named Jimmy Neutron first blasted his way onto the silver screen, he did not just introduce a generation to the wonders of retro-futuristic gadgets and alien abductions. He permanently altered the landscape of computer-generated entertainment. Yet, long before this cinematic triumph captivated millions of families around the world, long before the bright lights of Hollywood and the prestigious accolades beckoned, this iconic character existed only as a distant, flickering spark of imagination in the mind of his creator, John Davis. In those early, experimental days of the 1990s, the character we now know as the boy genius did not even bear the name Jimmy Neutron. Instead, he was envisioned as a slightly different cosmic adventurer named Johnny Quasar. The journey from those crude initial concepts to a fully realized theatrical phenomenon is a testament to relentless creativity, technological perseverance, and a series of serendipitous casting choices that would bring together an extraordinarily talented group of voice actors who infused these digital models with genuine heart, humor, and soul. To truly understand the magic of this timeless masterpiece, and to appreciate how it shaped childhoods of an entire generation, we must travel back to the absolute beginning of the story, exploring the hidden archives and the humble origins that paved the way for a cultural juggernaut. If you love diving deep into the nostalgic treasures of animation history and exploring the fascinating backstories of the shows that defined your youth, please take a quick moment to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our upcoming cinematic journeys. Every great cultural phenomenon has a definitive starting point, a moment where a simple idea begins to transform into something spectacular, and for this retro-futuristic universe, that transformation began on a remarkably modest scale. Long before sophisticated computer animation software became accessible to mainstream creators, the earliest iterations of Johnny Quasar were painstakingly rendered on primitive equipment, resulting in short, experimental clips that were shared with industry insiders on physical VHS tapes. These early demonstration reels possessed a raw, charming energy, showcasing a young boy who flew around the cosmos on a rocket-powered skateboard, accompanied by a loyal proto-robotic canine companion. When these VHS tapes eventually found their way into the hands of visionary entertainment executives, it became instantly clear that this concept possessed an undeniable spark of genius. A unique blend of classic 50s Americana sci-fi aesthetics and modern high-energy humor that could appeal to children and parents alike. As the project moved into active development and evolved from the cosmic concept of Johnny Quasar into the grounded yet extraordinary world of Retroville, the creative team realized that the success of the entire endeavor would rest squarely on finding the perfect vocal talents to breathe life into these characters. Animation is a unique medium where the visual design provides only half of a character's identity. It is the voice actor who must provide the emotional core, the subtle nuances, the comedic timing, and the believable vulnerability that allows an audience to connect with a digital creation. The search for the definitive voices of Retroville would lead the production team to two remarkable women, Debi Derryberry and Carolyn, whose incredible chemistry and distinct vocal talents would go on to define the auditory identity of a generation. Debi Derryberry was already an accomplished and highly versatile voice actress with a rich, multifaceted background in the entertainment industry, but embodying a hyper-intelligent, fast-talking 10-year-old boy presented a unique and thrilling challenge. Her journey into the recording booth was fueled by an immense passion for performance and a rare ability to capture the authentic cracking pitch of a young male prodigy without ever sacrificing clarity or emotional depth. When she stepped up to the microphone to audition for the role of Jimmy, she did not just read the lines on the script, she immediately inhabited the very essence of a child whose brain operated at 1,000,000 miles an hour, capturing both his overwhelming arrogance and his ultimate innocence. On the other side of this dynamic coin was Carolyn, who was tasked with portraying Cindy Vortex, Jimmy's brilliant, fiercely competitive, and occasionally combative classmate who served as his primary intellectual rival and secret admirer. Carolyn brought a brilliant spark of sharp, sassy wit and underlying warmth to Cindy, creating a character who could match Jimmy wit for wit, ensuring that their constant banter felt genuinely earned and endlessly entertaining. The process of discovering these voices was not a matter of mere happenstance. It required an intuitive understanding of the complex social dynamics of childhood, where rivalry and deep affection are often inextricably linked. As Debi and Carolyn began working together, an extraordinary creative synergy developed between them. A mutual respect and shared artistic vision that allowed them to elevate the material on the page into something profoundly memorable. This incredible creative synergy was heavily reinforced by the unique personal backgrounds of the actors themselves, particularly Debi Derryberry's profound musical upbringing, which would unexpectedly inspire one of the most unforgettable and deeply cherished sequences in the entire movie. Before dedicating her life to the art of voice acting, Debi had spent years immersing herself in music, developing a keen ear for melody, rhythm, and vocal control, qualities that allowed her to approach script interpretation from a distinctly lyrical perspective. During the production of the feature film, the creators were searching for a way to convey the pure, unadulterated joy and chaotic freedom of a town entirely devoid of parental supervision, a moment where the children of Retroville could truly cut loose. Drawing upon her musical sensibilities and her innate understanding of Jimmy's hyperactive personality, Debi infused her performance with a rhythmic, infectious energy that helped shape the iconic, celebratory sequences where the kids revel in their newfound independence. This musicality gave the character of Jimmy a dynamic, expressive vocal range that could shift seamlessly from rapid-fire scientific jargon to bursts of childlike exuberance, making his grandest triumphs and his deepest vulnerabilities feel entirely authentic to the audience. It was this rare combination of technical vocal skill and deep emotional intuition that elevated the project from a standard Saturday morning cartoon concept into a cinematic masterpiece capable of standing alongside the greatest achievements in modern animation. As we prepare to delve deeper into the specific scenes that define this cinematic triumph, the intense emotional core of the narrative, and the historic industry recognition that followed, we begin to see how this story transcended its humble VHS origins to achieve true immortality. The delicate balance between high-concept scientific adventure and genuine human emotion is precisely what transformed this cinematic endeavor from a simple children's comedy into an enduring masterpiece of storytelling. While the film captivated audiences with its dazzling displays of alien worlds, bizarre extraterrestrial villains, and makeshift theme park spaceships, the true beating heart of the narrative remained anchored in the complex, beautifully evolving relationships between its core characters. Among the vast array of memorable sequences that define the film, there is one particular moment that stands out above all others for the voice cast, a poignant scene that both Debi Derryberry and Carolyn Lawrence hold closest to their hearts. This defining moment occurs when the initial excitement of absolute freedom has completely evaporated, leaving the children of Retroville stranded in the cold, unforgiving darkness of space, overwhelmed by fear, homesickness, and the crushing weight of their apparent failure. In this quiet, emotionally raw sequence, it is Cindy Vortex who steps forward to comfort a profoundly broken Jimmy Neutron, who is weeping silently over the realization that his brilliant mind may have inadvertently cost them their families and their home. Carolyn and Debi have frequently reminisced about the profound depth of this specific recording session, recalling how the atmosphere in the studio shifted dramatically as they tapped into the raw, unguarded vulnerabilities of their respective characters. For Cindy to cast aside her fierce pride, her relentless competitiveness, and her sharp-tongued defense mechanisms to offer a gentle, deeply sincere hand of consolation to her great rival was a magnificent narrative turning point that gave the film its true soul. This extraordinary level of emotional resonance and narrative sophistication did not go unnoticed by the highest echelons of the entertainment industry, leading to a historic milestone that forever altered the perception of computer-generated animation. When the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences officially introduced the brand new category for Best Animated Feature at the prestigious Academy Awards, the competition was fiercely intense, populated by groundbreaking, high-budget cinematic marvels that had redefined the industry. To the immense delight of the creators, the cast, and millions of fans worldwide, Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius secured a historic nomination for this inaugural Oscar category, standing proudly alongside monumental industry giants like Shrek and Monsters, Inc. This prestigious recognition was a monumental validation for a project that had begun its life on humble, flickering VHS tapes in a modest Texas animation studio, proving that compelling character writing and a unique creative vision could triumph over massive corporate budgets. For Debi Derryberry and Carolyn, the whirlwind experience of the Oscars was nothing short of surreal, a beautiful celebration of the immense passion, dedication, and late-night recording sessions that had gone into bringing Retroville to life. The nomination firmly established the boy genius as a permanent fixture in the pantheon of cinematic history, elevating the property into a critically acclaimed franchise that would soon transition into a massively successful, long-running television series. This transition allowed the writers and actors to explore the boundaries of this rich universe even further, crafting complex, multi-layered episodes that blended high-stakes science fiction parody with the authentic, hilarious struggles of suburban childhood. When reflecting upon the multi-season run of the television series, both Debi and Carolyn instantly point to one legendary fan-favorite episode as their absolute pinnacle of creative enjoyment, an installment appropriately titled Stranded. This specific episode masterfully subverted the traditional dynamic between Jimmy and Cindy, isolating the two bitter intellectual rivals on a remote, deserted tropical island after one of Jimmy's countless scientific excursions went spectacularly awry. Deprived of the familiar comforts of technology and the neutralizing presence of their eccentric friends, the two characters were forced to rely entirely on each other for survival, a high-tension scenario that allowed their deep, underlying affection to finally rise to the surface. The comedic and dramatic tension of this episode reached a fever pitch as the characters bickered, cooperated, and ultimately shared moments of profound, heart-melting tenderness that sent shockwaves through the entire fandom. Recording the vocal tracks for this episode was an absolute joy for the two actresses, who were able to utilize their years of real-world friendship and professional chemistry to push the boundaries of the characters' classic banter. The episode stands as a brilliant masterclass in character development, showcasing how a children's animated program could handle the delicate, awkward complexities of adolescent romance with incredible wit, sensitivity, and narrative sophistication. The overwhelming popularity of this episode cemented the central relationship of the show as one of the most iconic, fiercely debated, and deeply cherished dynamics in the history of modern television animation, yet behind the brilliant scripts, the historical accolades, and the timeless humor of this magnificent universe lay a tight-knit family of immensely talented performers whose real-life bonds were just as deep and enduring as those of the characters they portrayed. As the years have marched steadily onward, bringing with them a profound sense of nostalgia and reflection, the cast has had to navigate the bittersweet realities of time, including the deeply painful loss of their beloved castmates. A profound wave of sorrow washed over the entire animation community and millions of devoted fans worldwide when news broke regarding the tragic passing of Jeff Garcia in December of 2025. Jeff Garcia was the brilliant, incomparably energetic comedic force who brought the wildly eccentric, hyperactive, and fiercely loyal character of Sheen Estevez to life with unparalleled comedic brilliance. His iconic performance gave the franchise some of its most enduring, quotable lines, and his manic, utterly unhinged vocal delivery created a character who was universally adored by audiences of all ages. For Debi and Carolyn, remembering Jeff is a deeply emotional journey filled with immense gratitude, love, and a profound sense of loss for a brother who brought boundless light, laughter, and spontaneous joy into every single recording session they shared. The incredible bond formed between these actors during those intense, highly collaborative years in the studio created a lifelong family, making his sudden departure a heartbreaking milestone in the history of the franchise. As we look back on the incredible legacy of this groundbreaking universe and prepare to explore its enduring impact 25 years later, the memory of those who poured their entire souls into these characters remains a shining testament to the magic of collaboration. Looking back across the vast expanse of nearly 25 years since that unforgettable, gravity-defying boy genius first soared into cinematic skies, the enduring legacy of this magnificent universe becomes remarkably clear. What began as a series of crude, ambitious experiments on physical VHS tapes has matured into a monumental, multi-generational cultural touchstone that continues to capture the imaginations of millions of viewers all around the globe. For Carolyn Lawrence and Debi Derryberry, the passage of a quarter of a century has transformed their relationship with these characters from a simple, rewarding professional assignment into a profound, deeply emotional lifelong journey. When they look back at the countless hours spent inside the walls of the recording booths, the intense creative collaborations, and the historic achievements that followed, they are consistently overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of what they managed to accomplish together. The character of Jimmy Neutron was never just a collection of digital polygons or a vehicle for high-energy slapstick comedy. He was a living, breathing celebration of curiosity, intellect, resilience, and the beautifully messy process of growing up. To hear Carolyn and Debi reflect upon what this franchise means to them today is to witness an incredible testament to the power of storytelling, a rare window into an artistic endeavor that managed to capture lightning in a bottle and preserve it perfectly for future generations to discover. The true magic of this enduring franchise lies in its uncanny ability to transcend the temporal boundary of its creation, remaining just as vibrant, hilarious, and emotionally resonant for modern audiences as it was during its initial theatrical release. Children who grew up rushing home from school to catch the latest wacky scientific mishaps in Retroville are now grown adults, many of whom are eagerly introducing their own children to the brilliant inventions, the chaotic alien encounters, and the unforgettable catchphrases that define their own youth. This beautiful, multi-generational continuity is a direct result of the incredible care, passion, and artistic integrity that the entire cast and creative team poured into every single frame of the film and every individual episode of the television series. When fans approach Debi and Carolyn at conventions and public events today, they do not merely ask for standard autographs. They share deeply moving personal stories about how the show provided comfort during difficult childhood moments, inspired them to pursue careers in science and technology, or served as a foundational bond within their families. These profound personal connections serve as a constant, beautiful reminder that great animation possesses a unique, almost supernatural ability to leave an indelible mark upon the human soul, providing a sense of joyful nostalgia that remains completely untarnished by the rapid, often chaotic passage of time. This rich, enduring legacy is further illuminated when we trace the remarkable personal journeys of the incredible heroes behind the microphones, whose dedicated careers have continued to flourish and inspire long after the final recording sessions wrapped. Debi Derryberry has consistently utilized her extraordinary, highly versatile vocal talents and her deep pedagogical insights to mentor the next generation of aspiring voice actors, sharing the priceless wisdom she gained from decades at the absolute pinnacle of the entertainment industry. Her profound dedication to her craft and her unwavering love for the character of Jimmy have made her a beloved, highly respected ambassador for the entire medium of animation storytelling. Similarly, Carolyn Lawrence has continued to enchant millions of viewers worldwide with her exceptional voice work, bringing her signature warmth, razor-sharp comedic timing, and deep emotional intelligence to some of the most iconic, long-running characters in television history. The unbreakable real-world bond between these two extraordinary women has only grown stronger over the last 25 years, mirrors the beautiful, evolving relationship of the very characters they brought to life, serving as an inspiring example of lifelong professional respect and deep personal friendship. As we bring this grand, nostalgic retrospective to its natural conclusion, it becomes undeniably clear that there has never been a more perfect time to step backward into the past and fully re-immerse ourselves in the spectacular, retro-futuristic world of Retroville. Whether you are a lifelong fan looking to relive the thrilling, high-stakes cinematic adventure of the feature film or a newcomer eager to experience the legendary, brilliantly written character dynamics of classic episodes like Stranded, for the very first time, the journey remains incredibly rewarding. Every frame of this masterpiece serves as a vivid, heartwarming reminder of a unique era in animation history where boundless imagination, technological innovation, and pure emotional honesty came together to create something truly immortal. We owe an immense, deeply heartfelt debt of absolute gratitude to Debi Derryberry, Carolyn Lawrence, the late brilliant Jeff Garcia, and the entire visionary creative team for sharing their immense talents, their beautiful memories, and their magnificent souls with all of us. They did not simply build a fictional world of rockets, robots, and alien empires. They created an extraordinarily bright, joyful, and completely irreplaceable part of our collective childhoods. leaving behind a timeless cinematic treasure that will continue to inspire wonder, laughter, and brilliant brain blasts for generations to come.